violating the fucking Espionage Act in the process and putting the lives of thousands of service members, including my husband's.
My job was to work in our dining facility in the administration office.
To a man, and that I don't recognize the authority of anyone who calls themselves a king.
So, our current president has told us to seriously consider taking military action.
Something serious is unfolding in America. And no, it's not just another Capitol Hill showdown or a late-night news meltdown. This time, it's a full-blown reckoning between those who swore to defend the Constitution and the man now sitting in the White House. A growing number of U.S. military officers and veterans, men and women who've risked their lives for this country, are standing up and speaking out, loudly, boldly, unapologetically. And their message, crystal clear. They will not betray their country, not now, not ever. These aren't fringe voices or political operatives. They are decorated service members, some recently retired, some still active, who have served through wars, administrations, and crises. But today, they face a new kind of threat. Not one from a foreign enemy, but from within our own borders. From a commander-in-chief who, in their eyes, is steering America down a dangerous path.
I'm going to say this once, and I'm going to say it very clearly. I joined the United States Army September of 2010. I was not a citizen of the United States at the time. I was a legal resident. I had a green card. You can still join any branch of the United States military without being a citizen, as long as you have your paperwork all squared away. When I got back from my 2012 deployment to Afghanistan, we were all assigned garrison duties, meaning you might have done what you did overseas, but now you're back in the States and you have a job to do. My job was to work in our dining facility in the administration office. This means I was in charge of all things digital. I ordered food, I managed the schedules, I did headcount, I trained people. Like, it's very, very techy, very administrative, almost like I was in an admin office. However, we hit a snag. I needed access to a US Army email account so I could answer emails and send emails. It's an email account. I wasn't trying to launch weapons or control people. This was just so I could have an email account. Low-level security clearance in a dining facility. And in order to get the lowest level security clearance, I needed to become a United States citizen. I'm gonna say that one more time. To get the lowest level security clearance in the United States Army, just in order to get an email account, .army.mil, I had to become a United States citizen. So I did. Then I got my email account. And then I got honorably discharged. And I'm like, wow, I did that all for an email? That wasn't worth it. The point is, it should enrage you that Donald Trump is giving random people who aren't citizens, who haven't gotten background checks done, security clearance. And he's giving them security clearance for a hell of a lot more high-level shit than I was doing. And I had to give up my former country's citizenship to become a citizen of this country, of the United States. You should be freaking the fuck out. You should be angry. Get fucking angry.
Deployed in the Middle East, not far from Yemen. I'm gonna warn you now, this is going to be the angriest fucking video I have ever made in my entire life, because there are not adequate words in the English language for me to fully fucking communicate to you right now how fucking furious I am. In case you haven't seen yet, news just broke that multiple high-level members of the Trump administration, including Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, shared highly classified information about upcoming troop movements and strikes in Yemen via a signal chat that they accidentally added a reporter to, violating the fucking Espionage Act in the process and putting the lives of thousands of service members, including my husband's, because of the fucking integrity of the reporter that information did not get leaked out and cause the deaths of service members. They did all of this after we they already knew that Signal had recently been fucking hacked by Russians looking for information about troop movement. Even if you set aside the fact that they accidentally included a reporter in this group chat and none of them even thought to maybe make sure that there wasn't anyone in the group that there shouldn't be. Even if you set all of that aside and it was only the people they meant to be in there, they still fucking violated the Espionage Act. They still put troop lives at risk. Their phones could very easily be hacked. Their phones could very easily be stolen. Their phones could very easily be left behind at whatever fucking bar Pete Hegseth goes to after work every day to get fucking drunk because he's a goddamn alcoholic. All it would take is one of those fucking phones falling into the wrong hands, and those motherfuckers would have sent hundreds of troop members into a fucking ambush. Every single Republican member of Congress better be on national news within the next few fucking hours calling for the fucking resignation of every single motherfucker on that group chat, up to and including JD Vance. There is no world in which it is acceptable for any one of those motherfuckers to still have their job by the end of today. If any person in the military did something like this, those motherfuckers would not only lose their job, lose their rank, lose their retirement, they would be in front of a fucking military judge before you could fucking blink. They should not face any less punishment. In a sane world, this scandal would be presidential administration ending. This scandal would single-handedly bring a presidential administration to their knees. It would end them.
So, our current president has told us to seriously consider taking military action to seize Greenland by force. I'm gonna let you know right now, Europe. None of the U.S. military leaders are going to do that dumbass. I'm sorry. We're not going to consider taking that kind of action against an allied NATO member. There's no point. We'll draw up war plans on it. We've done that to our allies all the time. It's nothing new. Nobody's doing that at all.
I made a video stating that I swore an oath to the Constitution, not to a man, and that I don't recognize the authority of anyone who calls themselves a king. And it has come to my attention that a number of people don't understand how our oath works. Some people left comments asking about, well, what about the fact that he's the president? While others left comments saying, he's the president. You'll follow orders no matter what. So I'm going to take some time and explain how this works. So when we join the military, we all swear an oath. As an enlisted member, I swear an oath of enlistment. Officers swear an oath that's similar to ours, but different because their responsibilities and expectations are different than ours. The president also swears an oath when he takes office. You may remember that both times that he was sworn in, there was this big controversy about how he didn't put his hand on the Bible when he swore the oath. Bible aside, that's not an important part about the oath. The important part is that he swore it, and he swore it in front of witnesses. So, Bible or not, that oath is still binding. In the presidential oath, he swears that he will, to the best of his ability, uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. It's a very simple oath, pretty short, and that's essentially it. In the enlisted oath, we swear that we will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States from, and I quote, all enemies, foreign and domestic. Close quote. We also swear, following that part, that we will obey the orders of the President of the United States and of all officers appointed above us. And that is where the clarification I believe is needed. So yes, we do swear to follow the orders of the President of the United States. However, first, we swear that we will uphold and defend the Constitution. The presidential part comes after that, and that is a very important detail. See, the Founding Fathers were worried that people in the government over time would become greedy and desire power. And so they specifically worded things so that the military could not be used to take power from the people and give it to one man. We don't swear any allegiance or loyalty to the president. The Constitution does not recognize the power and authority of any king. And so the moment that the president breaks his oath of office, his power and authority as president becomes null and void. And the moment that happens, we are no longer under oath to obey any orders that he may try to issue. And that is on purpose. Additionally, we are charged with disobeying any and all unlawful orders, regardless of who they come from. So if you're concerned or confused about whether or not things might go a certain direction, I hope that clears it up. And if you have any other questions, please leave them in.
At the center of this storm is President Trump, back in power and charging ahead with a political playbook that feels less like a democratic mandate and more like a hostile corporate takeover. But this time, it's not profits or branding at stake. It's the soul of the nation, our checks and balances, the rule of law, and that sacred document known as the Constitution. Under Trump's administration, we've seen unsettling patterns. An open disdain for the judiciary, talk of punishing judges who don't rule his way, and a growing trend of placing loyalists in sensitive positions. This isn't democracy. It's the kind of thing you'd expect in an authoritarian regime. But here in America, it raises every red flag imaginable. The good news? Many of our service members aren't having it. As one veteran put it, they refuse to bend the knee to the orange man, not out of rebellion, but out of duty. Because when they took an oath to defend the Constitution, it wasn't to one man. It was to a set of values: liberty, justice, equality, accountability. Their defiance isn't about partisanship. It's about patriotism. And that distinction matters. These officers aren't pledging allegiance to the left or the right. They're pledging allegiance to what's right. And in doing so, they're reminding the rest of us that democracy isn't a spectator sport. It needs defenders, loud ones, brave ones. Because let's be real, democracies don't crumble overnight. They erode slowly, in silence. But thanks to these outspoken veterans and officers, silence isn't on the menu. So here's to the Americans who still believe that power should be checked, laws should be respected, and leaders, no matter how powerful, are accountable to the people. These men and women aren't just defending the Constitution. They are the Constitution in action.
Do it again. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I will support and defend. The Constitution and laws. Of the United States of America. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance. To the same. So help me God.